All right. Well, you must know our next guest.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. She is
Meredith.
Meredith Berlin.
Meredith Berlin.
Yes, is editor-in-chief of Soap Opera Digest. You've probably been on their cover a few
times. Yes, I have.
It is one of the most respected, wouldn't you say, and...
the most successful of all magazines about daytime and what else?
And primetime dramas, too.
Yeah. Should we welcome her now?
Let's welcome Meredith Berlin. Meredith. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
What about this snobbery? Does that exist? We were talking about, did you hear us talking about that?
I think that Doug is right. I think indie industry exists. I think it exists a lot less than it used to, and it certainly doesn't exist among the audience.
Yeah, this is a popular form, isn't it?
Oh, God, 60 million people watch every day. I would say that's very popular.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about strictly daytime, when you talk about soap operas, you're talking about the Knots Landings as well. You deal with that in your magazine.
We cover the nighttime subs also, but in terms of who watches daytime, I mean, everyone does. College students do, professional people who tape them on their VCRs, celebrities watch soaps. Prostitutes, by the way, are big soap opera watchers. Everyone.
That's nice.
A lot of free time during the day.
Yeah, I figured that one out. Thanks a lot. You know, they've been around as long as television. I mean, they're from the earliest
60
days.
years. They started in radio 60 years ago.
But really has, in recent years, I don't know, it seems that in the last decade or so, they really have taken, I mean, do you know why they've taken off, though?
I think a couple of reasons. The nighttime soaps sort of made them more respectable. Dallas and Knots Landing, people who would never admit to watching a daytime soap would say, oh, but I watch Dallas. And we'd say, well, that's a soap opera. And that brought it out of the closet. The whole Luke and Laura phenomenon in the early 80s, this was the super couple of television then. Yes, and they were on the General Hospital. They were on the cover of Newsweek. And I think really the advent of the VCR, people started watching when they were in college, the whole second generation of soap viewers who didn't consider it something to be ashamed of. They came out into the marketplace, got their VCRs, and could watch after work. So.
Now, folks would be surprised by some of the names that have come out of soap operas, and we have pictures of a few of them, and I know there are more examples, too. But, for example, this fellow we're about to see, that's Christopher Reeve there. What show was that?
He was on Love of Life. He played a guy named Ben Harper, and he was a bigamist on the show. He was really pretty evil. He was married to 2 women at the same time. So he did all right for himself.
Now, this will probably surprise some people, too, but Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner, on the far right there, played a character named Nola Dancy on The Doctors. She was also very, very evil. She was always looking to, become the rich woman. She married doctors and then played them against each other so that she could move up the social ladder.
And here's another fellow you will probably recognize, Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon was
done very well in films.
Yeah, he was on Search for Tomorrow and Guiding Light, and he played a teenage alcoholic. So all these guys played kind of nefarious characters, and they did all right for themselves.
What other names that would surprise us?
Tom Selleck started on Young and Restless.
Is it true? I heard this.
The Ayatollah?
Really?
Not many people know
No,
that.
I didn't know that. Was he good?
Got his big start right there.
I had no idea.
My favorite is a guy who was on Days of Our Lives back in 1983. He played a character, I think it was named Kevin Hathaway. No one would have any idea how big he became later. I think you have a clip of it here, because this guy became a big star.
It's out of my control.
Good day, this is Kevin Hathaway with the 12 o'clock news. We're in the 12th precinct of the Salem Police Department, and we're speaking with Detective Sergeant Roman Brady. Sergeant Brady, last night's discovery of yet another fatal stabbing has led to the arrest of the victim's cousin, Eugene Bradford.
That's correct.
Now, Sergeant, we understand that Eugene Bradford has a history of mental illness and that he's being treated by your wife, Dr. Marlena Evans Brady. Now, can you tell us if this history of mental illness is one of the reasons that you're holding Mr. Bradford as a murder suspect? And more to the point, isn't he building to a big...
Let's go. Out of here.
Marvel change.
Well, I was rather proud of that. But, I've also done feature films. Artie, do we have that clip from Airplane 2 to show? Take a look at this. There we go. I've been a busy guy. Well, I think this is a good time for a break, and we'll come back and talk some more, maybe. Stay with us.
The Pat Sajak Show, sponsored by Suave Hair Care. Suave Hair Care makes you look like you spend a fortune on your hair.
days.
Day getaway and new restaurant specializing in fresh seafood. Ojo Caliente Mineral Springs, hour north of Santa Fe.
Welcome back. Thanks, Tom. Nice job. Back with the editor-in-chief of Soap Opera Digest,
Pat,
Meredith.
Pat, excuse me. I hate to interrupt.
Why am I lost control of this entire show? Yes, Tom.
I just have a question. Pardon me for asking, but are you people all going to a wake afterwards, or what?
It's just,
I'm dead. That's the whole thing.
This is kind of a somber-looking group, isn't it? Oh, you scared me to death, Tom. I thought you slept during the show. I had no idea. The man speaks. This is shocking news to all of us. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes, the editor-in-chief of Soap Opera Digest is here, Meredith Berlin. I'm just catching up on the latest. Well, we might as well show the magazine and see what you're selling there. Is it weekly, monthly?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. I was wrong again.
Say, Pat, am I on the cover there?
Not that way.
I don't think so. So we'll just show it very quickly then, Doug. It'll be fine. We talked about fans, and they are rabid fans. Any stories pop to mind? Or
Yeah, there's an interesting story. Marilyn Chris, who plays Wanda Wolak on One Life to Live. I don't know if you all know her. Yeah, she's great. She was at her agent's office on Broadway, and she left, and she went to use the restroom, which was like a communal restroom on the floor. She went in, and she heard these two women come in, very tough-sounding women, and she got out, and one took a switchblade to her. And they were about to rob her, and she gave them her purse, and she started talking like Wanda, which is what she does when she's nervous. And all of a sudden, they were like, Wanda! They put away their switchblade, they gave her back her purse, they took her by the arms and said, baby, come with us. You know, this is a dangerous place for you to be.
Nice. I like that. I like that story. By the way, both you and Doug have something in common in
Yes,
that
we do.
little ones will be on the way.
We're pregnant.
We're both
You're both
pregnant,
pregnant. What's the story on you, Doug?
I had nothing to do with it.
No. But your wife is.
My wife is, that I had something to do with.
Yeah, and
I
this
think.
is coming along soon?
Christmas Day.
Oh, nice.
Is the due date.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And you as well?
I'm waiting for the spring.
Spring? All right, I might as well hold out for the spring. Now, when a show's been on for years and years, do they ever get, I don't know how to phrase it, kind of tripped up in their own plots?
Dumb sometimes, you mean?
You could,
Yeah.
Inconsistencies
Yeah.
develop over time?
On All My Children, there's that great story of the little Martin child, Bobby Martin, who went upstairs one time to his room and played, and he hasn't come down since. That's been about 10 or 15 years.
They just lost the kid, huh? No reference ever made?
And something happened on Young and Restless. You're always talking about wanting to have a family. And don't you have a daughter?
I have a daughter.
How come you never talk about her?
Well,
Supposed to have a
she
child.
left town. She went to New York, and the girl that had her, my ex-wife, married a dentist, and
Don't you care?
I do. I do care.
So there's
In fact, I gotta go
daughter?
right now. I feel real guilty.
There's an unaccounted for daughter wandering around
Little
the stage?
baby Heather, yeah, in New York.
we
She's
don't know.
taken care of. She's well taken care of.
She'll be back next week. She'll be 20
Yeah.
years old.
We don't know what happened.
We can only hope.
Characters change. I mean, actors and actresses sometimes change.
Yeah.
I mean, from one
Sure.
day to the next, if someone leaves
And
the
then
show.
they give you lines. You're like a completely different person.
Yeah, this is one of the things that happen. Now, do you have predictions? You deal in that? What's going to happen?
Yeah,
Let's
we
bring
know
our...
a couple things that we're going to... On Young and Restless around Thanksgiving, the new Jack Abbott is going to premiere, and that's played by Peter Bergman, who used to be on All My Children. He played Cliff, and he's going to have a new scheme.
I wondered where he
Well,
went.
that's where he's going.
And why he would leave.
Wow, that's a whole other story.
Well, yes. Oh, yes.
And on General Hospital, Duke's coming back, and you can look for a big romance with him and Anna again.
Now, I have to tell you, I was never much of a daytime television viewer. And years ago, I was living in a town in Kentucky, and I used to watch in the afternoon, just before I would go into work. Even then, I was going into work in the afternoon, Doug. I would watch Andy Griffith reruns. And just before Andy Griffith was One Life to Live on this particular. And so I would tune in the TV a couple minutes early, you know, getting ready for Andy, and there would be the end of One Life to Live. And I did that for a few weeks, and I began to get kind of caught up in it. And then I would tune in 5 minutes earlier. And for about a year, I watched the show consistently then. I started watching the show. And one of the actors I enjoyed on the show, one day, he had a scene. He hadn't been sick before, but he had a scene where he walked in, he suddenly clutched his heart, fell down the stairs, was put in the hospital, and a week later he was dead. And I assumed there was some contractual problem. I mean, that sometimes happens, right?
That was very
so
sad
now
of you.
years pass, years and years pass, and I lost touch with the show, and I didn't see much daytime television. I'm working in another city, and I pass by a television set, and there's another soap opera on. I don't remember which one, but I see the same actor. And I thought, here he is after all these years. And I swear to you, I said, that's the guy from One Life to Live. And he clutched his heart, and he fell down the stairs. The same guy. So
Typecast.
that's his specialty, I guess, is just dying in the middle of scenes. So
It's funny because, you know, actors always do different work, but in daytime, if you go from one job to another, people get really upset because you are so identified with that character.
yeah. Well, anyway, continued success with
Thank
Soap
you.
Opera Digest, and we enjoyed having you here
Thank
and
you.
sharing
Thank
a
you
little
for
bit of a
having me.
daytime with us. Meredith Berlin. Thanks, Meredith. We'll take a break, and Debbie Shapiro is going to sing again. Stay with us.
Be our guest and let America hear you laugh. For tickets, write tickets, The Pat Sajak Show, CBS, 7800 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, 90036.